Colin Cowherd from The Herd with Colin Cowherd, his top 10 teams in the NFL entering this week.
Number 10.
The weird Cleveland Browns. They have the most giveaways in the NFL with 30. They've had 4 different quarterbacks with a game-winning drive. I would not want to play him in the first round. Excellent defense, excellent at home, great pass rusher. Third win when trailing by 10-plus points. Weirdest team in the league. 4 different quarterbacks game-winning drives. I think they're well coached. I like their personnel, and I think they could win a playoff game. I would not want to face them in the first round. Cleveland 10.
Jeff, that's fair. The thing that you kind of go back to is if they could be just a little bit more healthy, they could really do some damage. And I'm not saying give me everybody back. Right now, give me Nick Chubb back, and this team is really dangerous.
It's certainly possible, but I mean, look, the run blocking has been the run blocking, and obviously with the way the tackles have played, it's not really been indicative to any run game success to this point. But I think the biggest takeaway I have there is just talking about the coaching, and that is the key thing here. I mean, you're talking about a team that has played 4 quarterbacks, and the first 3 kind of similar skill set type of guys. Joe, not by any means whatsoever. Certainly, he was a little bit more better athlete when he was 28, certainly than he is now at 38, about to be 39 here in January. But the fact that it's been a revolving door on the offensive line. This week you saw yet another backup guard play. We actually had a snap from the 3rd string center this week. I think for Christian and Hubbard, there's times where you can see that they're overmatched. And then I think there's times where they get together with Bill Callahan and they find a way to compensate, certainly with their pass blocking like they were able to do for the 4th quarter for that drive. Defensively, you're talking about a team that, started a second-year undrafted free agent, in Anthony Bell, an undrafted free agent in Ronnie Hickman. They're just finding a way. And, again, the 1-0 and win the week, this stuff, I mean, if you're not winning, it sounds corny. It sounds very, middle school gym teacher-ish. But if it's working, nobody questions it. And this team just seems to find a way. And I think that, the thing that really becomes impressive about it is when you're down late in a ball game and you're missing a lot of guys like the Browns are, that's usually and you understand if things get away from you because, it's not the same guys. And, maybe it's, just not owing each other and their tendencies. But they get themselves into these holes. And I know I was sitting there Sunday about 3 o'clock going, well, yeah, unbelievable. And then you come out, you put together 3 straight scoring drives. You're able to hold off a second Hail Mary, 1 to close out the first half, 1 to close out the game. This is just really becoming a team. And, momentum. And I think unity, I think belief in each other, it's really become a serious thing within that locker room. And it certainly starts from the top down. And I think it certainly helps that you have Andrew Berry being able to find, capable veterans that, at the time when they're signed or signed to the practice squad, everybody's kind of like, well, that doesn't really seem to make a ton of sense. And then all of a sudden, these guys are becoming integral parts of this team, as we go through here. And now we're going to go to week 16. It's just been a really, really fun ride. And, I know, obviously I talk to a lot of people, in the, media content, football content business. And a lot of people just, basically, just send it over and just say, it's just really fun to watch because it always seems like each week it's somebody different. And everybody just kind of playing out of their zone and becoming more than they've ever been at times.
You mentioned the run game. I think it was 1.6 yards a carry last week. Is there any now? And you touched on it. 4 starters out, and you don't have Nick Chubb. Is there anything you can do to get the run game going, or at this point is it you kind of got that hand dealt to you, and you gotta find a way without it?
I believe my biggest theory at this point, and I said this going into last week, and look, Joe's a big, strong man. If it ain't working, and I've said this in the past, I don't care if it's not working, stick to it. Last week, I don't want to hear it. Just throw the ball. If there's no sign of any running game whatsoever, you got a 6'6" quarterback. His arm is certainly well rested. Just let him throw it as many times as he's got to. The only hope I would maybe have, and you saw, Pierre Strong had a nice play with some juice in his legs that ended up being, a hold after a screen. So, it was supposed to be a 20-yard play, only netted about 7-8 yards for them. He's got some juice, but maybe throwing will open up the run a little bit. If you're going to have to start loosening up the safeties, obviously you're going to stop if David Njoku, splits outside. You're going to have to make sure that there's somebody closer to him, and as opposed to whether or not he lines up in line. But right now, I mean, you're going to give yourself a couple of token runs, but if they don't warrant anything or anything positive, you're just going to let the big boy throw the ball around the field because it seems like he's in a really good zone right now, and he's really comfortable with the talent he has around him.